host, Andrew Romanella.
When you play Battle in Mario Kart and you don't turn off any of the items, there are bananas everywhere. I mean, it's like you're losing your balloons because you're slipping on bananas left and right. Bananas everywhere.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to another edition of The Rome Show here on 12ouncesports.com. We broadcast live on X, on YouTube, on Roku, and on Fire TV. I am your host, Andrew Romanella. I will be joined shortly by my brother, Rocky Romanella. I must tell you this. If for some reason Rocky is misspelled on Twitter, I don't know why, because I spelled Rocky wrong when I was getting the show ready, and I edited it before we went live. And so on top of my screen, it says Hockey with Rocky, but the way it's supposed to be spelled. But when I went on Twitter, it says Hockey with Rocky, and there's an extra E in there. So my apologies to my own brother, to my father, who's also named that, and anyone else named Rocky out there. It's tough to spell at 6:25 in the morning when you're doing that. But I thought I fixed it before the show went live. But either way, what a good start to Tuesday, March 25th. We got a really good show for the people. Tune in any way you can. Comment on YouTube or X, or get us on the social media, The Rome Show 1, on all of the sites. I want to talk NCAA tournament. We got some men's numbers for you here, which I think are pretty cool, and they kind of give an update on where the tournament's at. A big injury in the women's tournament last night, which I think is going to possibly change how people feel about the Sweet 16 and beyond. And then why we are really here on a Tuesday, hockey with Rocky spelled appropriately. And we want to break down Alexander Ovechkin. We got to talk road to the Frozen Four. The college tournament starts this week. And then we talk NHL standings. I heard in our pre-production meeting that there might be some NASCAR on the docket for the people today. So really excited about the show. Again, tune in, join us, whatever. Quickly, okay? I want to talk about the NCAA men's tournament before we bring Rocky on board, all right? Because we're getting ready for the Sweet 16 on Friday. And I feel like this tournament does not have the same pizzazz as tournaments in years past. And we talked about a statistic yesterday that I think really opened up my eyes to realizing what's going on. And then I think it really kind of puts a stamp on where we are at in Division I college basketball. First and foremost, there were 0 victories this season from seeds 13 through 16. They were 0 in the tournament. That's the first time since 2017, okay? In the history of the tournament, the highest seed to win a natty was number 8 Villanova in 1985. By seeds, okay? 22 times the 1 seed has won the tournament, 9 times the 2 seed, 4 times the 3 seed, and 2 times the 4 seed. In the history of the tournament, if you are a seed ranked higher than number 5, your win percentage rate is below 50%. Just to give you an idea, 6 seeds have a 47% win rate percentage in the tournament, meaning any game they possibly play, their chance of winning is 47%. 7 seeds, 37%. 8 seeds, 34%. 9 seed, 32. 10, 28. Then 11, 21, 12, 18, 13, 14, 14, 10%, 15, 5%, and 16, a 3% win rate. In theory, only twice has a 16 seed won a true game in the NCAA tournament. They have 35 victories counted towards them because of the first round play-in 16-16 game, but 16v1 has only happened twice in the history of the NCAA tournament. Why do I tell you all of this? Okay? Because the remaining seeds in this NCAA tournament are broken up all 1 through 6, and there's 1 10 seed remaining. College basketball has changed. The Cinderella run, the George Mason, the St. Peter's University, there's a solid chance that that is done and over with. The win rate percentage for any seed that is below an 8 seed is going to continue to drop dramatically as years go on. Why? Because of the transfer portal and the NIL. For those that might not know, yesterday was the opening of the transfer portal in Division I basketball. So there are 16 teams remaining on the men's and the women's side, 32 total, with which those coaches are getting ready Friday through Sunday to coach the most important game of their season. And there are players on their roster that are entering the transfer portal. John Calipari said it best yesterday. I have to talk to these players about getting ready for our next game. And I also have to say, oh, hey, by the way, you coming back next year? So during the Sweet 16, you have players in college basketball entering the transfer portal. Okay? How about this statistic I found this morning? In 2023, there were 175 players that entered the transfer portal on the opening day of portal season in college basketball. In 2024, that jumped to 291. Yesterday, okay? I need you sitting down for this. Yesterday, there was a total of 700 student athletes in the transfer portal in college basketball. 700 student athletes. It's forever changing, ladies and gentlemen. You're not getting a player that is going to stay at a University of Wisconsin, Whitewater, Green Bay, to in his fourth year with the same guys for 4 years, be 33-2, win the Colonial States Athletic Horizon League Conference, and go be a 15 seed and win 3 games. It's not going to happen anymore. Because what's going to happen is you're going to get the kid from Florida that played his first 2 years at Iona, brought Iona to the tournament while Rick Pitino was the head coach, and then up and left and went to Florida. That's what's going to happen. Steph Curry would no longer be at Davidson if Steph Curry was as good as he was in college after his freshman and sophomore year, because you're going to transfer now. Besides the fact that you're dealing with one and dones and a lot of players that are going to college just for the 1 year to get to the National Basketball Association, now you're getting players that are using mid to low major Division I schools as junior college. So after a year of dominating XYZ small major conference here, they then put their name in the transfer portal, get picked up by an Arkansas, a Missouri, a Florida, a USC, a school in the Big 10, Big 12, SEC, insert legitimate school here. And so now you have the elongation of the big programs. What do I mean by that? Well, now you're going to get a deeper SEC, a deeper ACC, a deeper Big 10, a deeper Big 12. You're going to get a deeper version of the best college basketball conferences, but you are going to slowly suffocate out the opportunity for a Cinderella run. You're slowly going to suffocate out the opportunity for all of us to get excited because of 13 seeds in the Elite Eight. That's gone because those players, because the transfer portal will no longer stay at those institutions. And it's sad because for me, that's why I get excited to watch the NCAA tournament. What craziness am I going to see next? Well, unfortunately, that doesn't exist anymore. To finish the point, then I want to get Rocky's thoughts on this. There are 4 number 1 seeds remaining, all 4 number 1 seeds. There are 3 number 2 seeds remaining. There are 2 number 3 seeds remaining, 3 number 4 seeds, 1 5 seed, 2 6 seeds, and 1 10 seed. If you think about the last 3 years of college basketball, dating back to St. Peter's and drawing all the way to FDU versus Purdue in 2023, 2024, and then you think about this tournament, in a way, is just exactly how you expected it to play out. And honestly, I bet if you look at next year's tournament and then the year after, when it's all said and done, you're going to start to really see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or SEC, ACC, Big 10, Big 12. That's it. Top 4 power conferences. And that's because the transfer portal. And because players have no reason to stay anywhere anymore. Let's go ahead and bring in Rocky Romanella for this conversation and more, because it's a Tuesday, and that means it's now inside the glass. Hockey with Rocky.
Oh, what's going on, everybody? Alex Ovechkin here, ready to break the record. How you doing?
We are doing great, Ovi. How you doing? You got thoughts on the NCAA conversation?
You are witnessing relegation through the NIL. That's all this is. You're reshuffling the deck of talent, and ironically enough, you actually need to shrink the NCAA tournament in order to get yourself some Cinderella stories back.
I think you need to shrink the NCAA tournament, and I also think you need to take it a step farther and almost shrink Division I sports. Like, I think it's
you've got to go 1 and 1 AA in basketball now.
And football. I think it's like, hey, take these 5 conferences or 4, whatever you've decided now are the power conferences. You guys are NCAA Division I, and then everybody over here, because I'm sure they won't be able to handle being called Division II. So you're right. It'll have to be like NCAA. It'll be D1 AA. But you're right. Yeah. And then you have the mid-majors who play in their Division I with their tournament, and then the regular D1s.
You're also, and you're putting a check. I think you're probably putting a check on recruiting as well. I mean, think about how much talent ends up at mid-major. Like, you made a good point about Steph Curry at Iona. I mean, maybe Steph Curry gets picked up by a bigger school, or maybe you need to pay more attention to that talent. At the same time, then again, why does it matter to get it wrong when I'm going to get that kid in a year or 2 years, regardless? So I think the only way to combat it, quite frankly, if I'm at one of those schools, is I would start offering an athletic associate's degree that requires you to stay 2 years versus 1. And I would start making my program built around 2-year cycles instead of 4. If I wanted to be competitive, or if I cared about that, knowing that I'm probably not getting any relief from the NCAA when it comes to structure.
That's really a good idea, because if you think about it, the biggest issue outside of the transfer portal for the mid-major, low-major Division I's is the fact that the high-level schools are only going to get a player for a year, right? Look at Duke and Cooper Flag.
If you are at a major, if you're in the Power 5, right, you're more likely playing 1 year, which that's why you need the portal, because I can get higher end talent that's older and more defined, more mature, and I can go scout. I'm going to go scout every one of those small market teams versus me taking a flyer on a high school kid who just wants to get to the NBA. Like, so your depth actually comes through the transfer portal. So now if I'm the lower tier, right, I either got to buy into it, or, in reality, some of those schools just need time to understand how their NIL is going to work, right? Yeah, you probably aren't going to have a YouTube sensation. You're not going to be a Lululemon sponsor. You're not going to be an NIL that gets $1 million. But as some of these schools understand how to use it through their local communities and some of the local outreach, that's when some of their money will start getting bolstered for more attractive, athletes at the lower levels.
That's a great point. It's Tuesday. It's hockey with Rocky. It's sports with Rocky, as it happens more times than not. Before we go on to some of the other topics we've talked about today, I want to get your opinion on something on the gridiron, Rock, because the New York Football Giants signed Jameis Winston to a 2-year, $8 million deal. I haven't had a chance to talk about this yet, and I wanted to get a pure Giants fan's perspective on this signing.
I actually like it a lot, because it now gives the Giants flexibility in the draft. And I think that they can make a stronger move at Travis Hunter now without the worry of taking a flyer on one of those top 3 quarterbacks. Or if you really thought like Jackson Dart was the guy of the future, you can get him and not have to start him. So I think it gives you flexibility at the quarterback position. I think that more than just that, which I'm excited about, is it's going to relieve maybe some media pressure from like Malik and some of the other personalities on the team, because Jameis is going to take a ton of airtime. And for better or worse, he is going to get absolutely run ragged by the New York media. And hopefully that's a distraction for some of the younger guys.
I hope that Jameis's boisterous personality is exactly what's needed with that media and with that locker room, because he doesn't seem like somebody that's ever going to get flustered per se by the media. He might talk too much. He might say one too many things in front of a microphone, but I don't think the New York media is going to fluster him. And to me, that's super important for this position, because the fact of the matter is, Rock, Jameis Winston ain't the long-term solution for the New York Giants, but it'd be really nice if this man could neutralize the quarterback
Listen,
room for a little bit.
at $4 million a year, you're going to take the good and the bad, and you're hoping he's got a year like he did in New Orleans, where he throws 30 picks, but 37 touchdowns, and like
I think that was
10
Tampa
of
Bay.
them are like 10, yeah, and then 10 of them are like 60-yard bombs to Malik. Like that'd be sweet.
I saw something funny on Instagram the other day. It was like Travis Hunter's the perfect pick for the New York Giants now, because he can play wide receiver on Jameis Winston's good passes and cornerback on all of his bad passes.
Yeah, that's amazing. I was talking about this over the weekend, and like I mean, Travis Hunter makes, you have to go get him now.
I think it
You
makes
like
sense.
you have to get him. He's gonna play here. Do you want to know what I want, Travis? I told him, well, what do you want? Do you want him to play? I'm like, Travis Hunter's gonna play cornerback all day, and then he's gonna take a Cordell Stewart and like be on steroids and like play 10% of the offensive snaps and all gadget plays.
Well,
And
I
like
think
that
that's
is,
right, though.
yeah,
Why wouldn't you do that?
don't let him touch returns.
Yeah,
He's going
agreed.
to be a stud defender. I mean, you just bolstered your secondary. You made really good moves at the secondary position. Go draft Travis Hunter. Now you can take a flyer on a young quarterback and actually try and develop them in a system over the next 2 years. And at $4 million a year, I mean, why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. We're talking Jameis Winston. We're talking New York Giants. We're talking on the Rome Show, 12OZ Sports, broadcasting live, YouTube, X, Roku, and Fire TV. If you want to get in on the action, like Kai the goalie does every single day, and some other friends that we've had tuning into the show recently, just comment on YouTube or X. Give us your thoughts. We're talking a charcuterie board of sports today for the people. Rocky, I know you had a NASCAR story before we get into our hockey. I'd like you to get into that, because I am curious as to what you are about to tell the people.
No, it's not crazy. I was just proud. I told you last week I had a NASCAR conversation with some buddies. I found out one of the guy likes Kyle Larson, so I always have the game on in the background, or the race on in the background on Sundays. Now I didn't really watch the whole race, but I came into the end of the race, and there's a restart with like 40 laps left, and Kyle Larson's in like fifth or sixth at the restart, and this is Kyle Larson's home track. Now Kyle Larson won the truck race on Friday. He's supposed to win the Bush race on Saturday. I don't even know if it's called Bush anymore, but he's supposed to win the series race on Saturday, and he gets bumped in like one of the last laps and can't win it. So you're watching him, and he's in this like battle for fourth place with Denny Hamlin, and kind of talking about how he's loose and has he run good? What's going to happen to Kyle Larson here? And I texted the kid who said he liked him, and I was like, hey. I was like, I think Larson I think he's gonna be. I think he's gonna take this thing. Like I think he's gonna be sleeping. I think he's doing a rope a dope. I think he's right. I tell you what, man. Sure enough, 10 laps
Wins
left.
it.
He passes for third by lap six, with six to go. He passes for the win, and he won the race. And I was like, yeah, I saw it. It's awesome.
Your NASCAR eyes are working. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Well, we got a write-in for you about that while you were telling that story. Check it out on your screen, Rocky. Kyle Larson winning always makes me mad.
Yeah, but he's so good. I mean, I get it, but I mean, and how about he had to pass another he passed another Hendricks motor car race, and Alex Bowman at to take it, like Bowman was leading they both would have gotten their first win of the year, but it was Larson's to take home. So
That also blows my mind about NASCAR is they're like that they're on teams, right? But like they're really not, but they are. It's like crazy.
think about this. You've got Denny Hamlin who races for Joe Gibbs. He owns 2311. He's got Tyler Riddick running in the top 10. He's got Bubba Wallace in the lead half the
They got
race.
that right in.
Yeah, dude, I know Bubba's good, and he's got Denny Hamlin drafting off his back, kind of pushing him, like, dude, get out the way. It's like I don't know which one he's going for.
Yeah, you're right. It's kind of crazy. And the Denny Hamlin being an owner and a driver at the same time thing is
Reckless.
that is also great portfolio by him, by the way. Talk about business, you know?
Yeah, no, he did good. But the Hendricks mode, the Hendricks Sports, because it's got Jeff Gordon, is interesting. And they talk about them a lot. Like they say that they're five drivers that like they're not a team. They're five independent. They let those guys race each other, which is nice.
I like that. I really feel like I like that. And Hendricks, is that who
Top
Jeff
three in
Gordon?
standings. Yeah, that
Okay.
is Jeff Gordon.
All right. Look at me. Okay. So write your NASCAR questions in. It's tires and ice with Rocky moving forward on
Oh,
Tuesday.
that's a good name.
Hey, we might have just found something there.
Yeah,
All
there
right.
you go.
How would you like to rock here? Because I know we finished with rock solid, rock soft. So we'll do that at 7:30 like we always do. You got some information, some notes on the National Hockey League right now? You want me to throw the standings up? Where are you feeling?
I think we got to start with Ovechkin now.
I think we got to start with Ovechkin too. For those wondering, Alexander Ovechkin scored his 888th goal the other night and is 7 goals away from breaking the record, 6 from tying. Rocky, floor is yours. Talk to us.
7 goals and 7 games to do it in the same amount of games as Gretzky, which is pretty awesome. So Ovechkin, ironically enough, not ironically enough, but he's averaging a point per game, in the games he's played this year, which means like he has got a chance to do it. He's just under like he's at like 0.6 goals per game. So it's not out of the question. And like the thing that you've got to remember is that he can go ahead and fire off a 2-goal game or a hat trick, like in any one of these next 7. But what I love about is the entire hockey world cheering for this guy. That's
I think
my
it's so
favorite
cool.
part.
It doesn't matter what team you're a fan of. It doesn't matter. And so my question to you is, what's his greatness remembered as, right? I know it's obviously as a goal scorer, but the only issue I've had with this chase for greatness is listening to some people be like, well, that's the only thing Alexander Ovechkin does. Oh, he's just on the ice to score goals. And it's like, well, first and foremost, yeah, like that's his job. His job's to be the best goal scorer on the team. He does that. But I've always seen in his 20-year career, Ovi do a little bit more than just that. What are your thoughts on how people will remember his greatness?
Here's what I'll tell about people saying stuff like that is and I'm going to use NBA as the example. I'm a casual fan. A casual fan right now would think that the LA Lakers suck this year because the only media that I've seen in my casual fanship has been negative about LeBron, negative about the Luka Doncic trade, negative about Bronny. And you look at the standings and they're in 4th place.
Yeah.
And
they've
you're
been
like,
playing really good since that trade.
they've been playing good, right? Like now, pure basketball people would be like, no, they're fine. Like you wouldn't know, right? So like anyone who's saying that Ovechkin is only going to be known for scoring goals, right, only knows a portion of who the player was. But if you look at his game as a whole, right, Ovechkin early in his career was synonymous with shooting the puck and a physical power forward. He is a physical power forward. I don't know if there's been a perennial goal scorer who's played the power forward position better than Ovechkin when it comes to physicality on the ice, right? And I think the best part of Ovechkin is because early on in his career, I was in the Ovechkin camp early. Like I was in Ovechkin's camp before Crosby. But I'm definitely more of a Crosby lover than I am Ovechkin lover at this point in my career. But the thing about Ovechkin is that his power forwardness, like, was so great offensively, and what he had to do to become a true captain What he had to do to support his team winning the Stanley Cup is only something that you can like respect great players for. It's recognition of something missing from their game. They add it to their game from a defensive standpoint for him, right? And they help lead their team to a Stanley Cup. And so when if you want to pigeonhole Ovechkin to being one thing, I just think you're not educated on his history.
That's a dynamite point. We're talking to Rocky Romanello, resident hockey expert. We're breaking down soon to be the best goal scorer of all time. I cannot wait till my first rock solid, rock soft question for you, because I think
hold on for a sec. I got 2 more points on Ovechkin. Number
Go
one,
ahead.
those of you that say he scores a lot of empty netters, okay? What are you doing when you're on the ice for an empty netter? Oh yeah, you're securing the victory.
Yep. You
So
gotta
if
score if
he's
it's there.
if he is scoring more empty netters, that means he's on the ice to protect the win, which means he's got way more to his game than just taking easy goals, right? Number one. And number two, if you're saying, oh, he scores all of his goals on the power play, well, look at the NHL across the board. Almost 25% of all NHL goals are scored while on the power play. So why wouldn't you want the best power play guy in the league on your team, right? That's strategy. That's tactics. So take all of your hate and just send it somewhere else. And why don't we just love the dude for breaking what we believed was a record that would never be broken?
According to my quick research, now, this could be wrong because I'm in the midst of doing a radio show, but in Wayne Gretzky's career, he had 56 empty net goals, and currently Alexander Ovechkin has 57 empty net goals. Now, that's just quick research. While on the show, we'll do a little bit more later on. Okay, but Rock, if that's right, what are we talking about here?
I'm discrepancies in special teams.
That's fair. And by the way, if Alexander Ovechkin has 888 goals, according to the numbers, he has 721 assists. So that'll tell you also about
that
all
would
the
be the biggest difference. And that's where your style and gameplay changes, right? Power forward versus, right? Like Crosby aligns more with Gretzky when it comes to assists, right? That's kind of that alignment there, is like the ability to set up others.
That makes sense. All right. Are you ready for rock solid, rock soft? Because it'll cover the standings and it'll cover the Frozen Four. And I got another something or other on Alexander Ovechkin here for you.
Bring it on.
All right. Hold on. We got to do the music. And let's do this dance. Okay. So here's the dealio, bro. We're going to start with Ovi because we just finished talking about him. Rock solid, rock soft. That's not the question. Here it is on the screen. Alexander Ovechkin scores 900 plus goals. Now, the reason I'm asking you this is because there's some conversation about once he breaks this record, he's going to go and play for his team in Russia to finish his career. What are your thoughts on that?
12 games remaining, and he has 12 goals to get to. It's 12 goals to get to 900.
900.
I personally think he would need to play another year to make it happen. I hate doing this. I hate doing it because, like, I think if he hits 7, if he breaks the record in less than 7, like with a multi-goal game, I actually do think he's going to hit 900 this season.
It's all dependent on that multi-goal game.
I'm gonna go. You know what? I actually want to make a joke, but I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I'll go solid. All right. On you hit 900.
Rock solid on Ovi hitting 900. Now, I have some facts and information for this next question for you on the backside. Okay. Leon Draisaitl scores 800 goals in his career. Now, Rocky, if you're wondering, well, where the hell did you come up with this question? Well, I'll tell you. Currently, through 787 career games, 10 years in the league, Leon Draisaitl has 396 career goals. During that same time period, Alexander Ovechkin had 475. To take the stat a step further, Rocky, Ovi has 9 50-plus goal seasons. He has 13 40-plus goal seasons, and he has 1 60-plus goal season. Whereas through 10 years, Leon Draisaitl has 4 50-plus goal seasons and 6 40-plus goal seasons. I'm not asking if he's going to break the record, Rocky, but do you think Leon Draisaitl can get to 800 goals? Rock solid, rock soft.
I think I would be solid on 800. I mean, he'd actually have to score at a higher pace over the next 10 years to do it. Um, But for guys like that, at some point, Leon Draisaitl is not going to play for the Oilers, and he's going to dump in a huge. He'll make a big. He'll like make a big swing, like. And I'd like to be solid on Draisaitl there. Yeah, I
And
like that.
I
Like 801, I could see him like 804, like 806.
like the third best scorer of all
Like
time or
in his
something like that.
20th season, he hits the 800 mark, like right before he retires. Like I could see that.
And the reason why I started looking at this is because as he's trended in the last 4 years, of those stats I was talking about, three of those 450 plus goal seasons have happened in three of the last 4 seasons. So he is in the midst of his stride
He's
as the
in it.
best version
Yeah,
of a
he's
goal scorer.
no doubt he's in it, and he'll have one more when he loses that stride where it's just like this guy's like the same way Ovi is.
It's just, he's not, it's like, he's 78 goals off, but it was just something interesting. All right, let's continue on. Let's go to college hockey. I got my UNH sweater on, though. They're not in the Frozen Four. Rocky, rock solid or rock soft, a team from the Northeast. Okay, so I'd go east of Chicago. Let's call it that. Wins the Frozen Four championship.
East of Chicago.
Yeah, I mean that's it. Because here you go. Just if you were
Yes.
wondering,
Yes.
Really?
Boston College 1, Bentley 2, Providence 3, Massachusetts 4, Maine 5, Penn State 6, UConn 7, Quinnipiac 8, Cornell 9, Boston University 10, Ohio State 11. 11 of the 16 teams are on this side of Chicago.
Yep. The only reason why I bring that up is because Michigan State, really good hockey team, possibly one of the best in the country. And then you have all those random other schools that exist over there. What is it, like Western Michigan and Minnesota something or other? And I feel like though the talent is shifted more towards the Northeast, it's those random schools that'll end a Cinderella run.
Yeah, I mean, I think the question is more on, if you do some research on how we seed, I think college hockey needs to expand.
Yeah, I couldn't agree
Because
more.
think about this. You've got 6 teams from Hockey East. You've got 4 teams from the Big Ten, and Michigan got bounced because Cornell snuck in by winning the ECAC. Quinnipiac's in like that one. That's I mean, they gave Quinnipiac the spot because they won the regular season, but Cornell won the conference tournament, and Cornell was 6th in the league going in to the conference tournament. So that's a spot they steal. The game. I mean, that Ohio State BU game is probably going to be amazing.
Before I give you my last one, I thought this was an awesome write-in by Mikey. He said, to the OV and NBA point earlier, great point. Media promotes negativity only, takes away from OV's goal chase. I mean, that's a really good write-in right there. To your really good point about Alexander Ovechkin. Again, write in on YouTube or X if you want to give Rocky your thoughts.
Thanks for the love. I like that.
Dude,
a little validation on my water cooler sports talk. Yeah.
That's right. Daily Dive, 1 p.m., by the way, if you want to check out Michael's lacrosse takes. All right, Rocky, let's finish this show. I want to start with the Blues because they're on like a 2019 run again. They're 12-2-2 since the All-Star break. Last time they did something like that, they ran on and Rosalita or whatever it was to the Stanley Cup championship. So rock solid, rock soft. The Blues can, I'm not saying win the championship, but do it again and get themselves that final 1 or 2 wild card spots. And in this scenario, hold off the Calgary Flames.
Listen, I've been solid on the Blues, 3 rock solid and softs in a row. I'm sticking with them.
Okay, you're gonna stick with it. All right.
Yeah.
Just to throw up
watching the Blues continue to climb the standings and find themselves in this spot is like the only thing validating me that I'm not a fraud at this.
I love that thought.
I keep cheering for him.
I love that thought for you. And you were the person that early on in the year said you weren't a huge fan of the Canucks, though they have some talent there, and they're right there with the Flames and knocking on that doorstep.
Just look at the goal differential. I'm telling you, the Blues, you're more solid on the Blues, plus 10 goal differential. Look at the Canucks goal differential. Look at the Flames goal differential, right? And Minnesota has kind of fallen off that, and that's why they find themselves like kind of sitting here like, hey man, we were a top 3, almost a number 1 spot almost all year, and now look at us. So that goal differential is a very, very big indicator.
when history repeats itself. Here's the East, by the way, if you want to give us your thoughts before we end the show.
2 games in hand Montreal has on the Rangers. The fact that the Islanders are back in the mix is just annoying.
It's very wild.
Um, it's just awful. It's just awful. Gotta love watching Brady Tkachuk kind of will the Senators into that spot, which seems very secure right now, even though there's 13 games that they got to play left. The question mark continues to be the New Jersey
Yep.
Devils.
Yeah, man, what a
And
roller
if
coaster.
and if the Rangers or the Islanders could have just gotten their stuff together about 10 games ago, they're fighting for the third spot and not the wild card spot, in my opinion.
Yeah, I see what you're saying there, and that makes plenty of sense. And I find it, we started the show talking about parity in the NCAA. I find it very cool right now that there's a lot of parity in the National Hockey League. I don't care what the record says, the Winnipeg Jets or the Washington Capitals. I don't think there's a favorite this season going into the postseason in the National Hockey League. That's what gets me so excited for this playoffs.
Same. And a lot of talk about 2 more expansion teams coming. A lot
Atlanta,
of
I saw
talk.
again.
Yeah, Atlanta, Houston. A lot of talk about playoff format. Gary Bettman's definitely against it. A lot of people want to go back to 1 versus 8. And I don't quite understand why and oh, the first round beat you up and blah blah blah. That's the whole point. Like
Yeah, it's freaking the
the
playoffs.
you've got to get out of your division and like you get rewarded for being in first place in your division, which
Correct.
means you get to play 7, 8. Like, why wouldn't we want those in division matchup? I mean, it's like a continuation of the regular season. It's almost like a conference tournament for the playoffs. I mean, I absolutely love the rivalry that happens in the first round, and it really makes you, battle tested as you get into, the divisional championship and the conference championship. I don't see how it's a problem.
Yeah, there should be no easy road to win a Stanley Cup, and there is still advantage to being a top 1, 2, or 3 seed. You're always going to have slight advantage in that light. I agree. I think at the end of the day, when things don't work out for certain teams, just fans start to complain about it, or people want to make change just because it didn't work out for their team.
And if you're going to go back to 1-8, well, that means you have to play less games in the regular season against the Western Conference. You need to play more Eastern
Yeah,
Conference
you'd have to
games.
switch the entire schedule.
That's right. Like you have to play those teams more. Like we only play the Devils 3 times a year.
Yeah.
That should be the first round matchup at 2-3. So what? I'm gonna play the Devils 2-3 times a year. We're gonna be 1-2. I won't see them until I don't know. I
Yeah,
love
we'll
it.
talk.
I
We'll
I
talk.
love it.
We'll talk more postseason as we get closer to the postseason. Hockey with Rocky on a Tuesday. Rocky, thank you very much for your time. Oh, and
Thanks.
NASCAR, by the way.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Chevy says hi.
Tires and ice every Tuesday here on the Rome Show. I'm going to make this quick because we got to get out of here. We went over today. Who really cares? I wanted to give you my picks on the way out. So let's do this. All right. I'll pick my phone up off the desk really fast. We'll start the picks music and the outro music all at the same time. All right. And we'll do it together for the people. Here's the deal. 73 and 59 on the bananas. That's the facts. All right. We're getting better, but we're not being great. We had UNC on the money line last night. San Diego State lost by more than 30 to UConn. Wowzers. What a finish to Paige Bucher's career. Tonight, I got the Vegas Golden Knights -1.5 versus the Wild. The Wild are 13 and 22 against the spread at home. And then I got the Canadians, who are 21 and 13 on the road against the spread at the St. Louis Blues. The Blues won 6 straight. I am taking them. They could win. I have no idea, but I'm just taking the Canadians at the +1.5 covering that spread. Appreciate Rocky. What a fun show we had today. If you missed any of it, go ahead and get the show. Wherever you get your podcast, just search The Rome Show. Podcast back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Until then, have an electric day. And peace.
Thank you for listening.